And welcome to episode 1, 2, 3 of the MisanthroPod. I just think that's really fun. Wib, how are you? I'm Snipe.
I'm good. Drummer Matt, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm Drummer Matt. Apparently that's what
Yes, you are!
Okay, good. We're stellar run of introductions.
I got so fixated on the 1, 2, 3 that I just forgot my own name. I forgot to introduce myself. It can happen.
It's fine. You know, we've only done this over 120 times at this point.
I mean, you have no proof of that.
There is literally archived proof of this.
Is there?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, that sounds fake.
Yeah, how is everyone doing? Are we all okay?
I'm Snipe.
Yes, but are you okay?
No!
Okay, yeah, that was obvious.
Well, I'm alright, so that's what matters. Wib, how are you?
Good. I'm good. I am half full of COVID juice.
Oh, lovely.
I thought you were going to say cum.
No.
I've been sleeping on my side, so it's like when you park on a hill and your petrol meter goes down in old cars before they just automatically read 0 to kind of deter what do they call the car suckers? My dad used to do that. My dad used to suck cars off.
So I've had my first half of my COVID vaccination. So that was a thing.
So 5G isn't fully active yet, but we're waiting.
No, the microchips are in there. Bill Gates knows where I am, but I can't have access to 5G yet.
Okay.
I'm glad that you got it. And side effects wise,
I got basically 0. I think maybe I did get some joint pain, joint kind of fatigue and stuff is supposed to be and pain, aches and pains are supposed to be part of it.
I mean, I don't know. You are 46.
I'm not. But the big thing is that the vaccination centre was an hour's walk away. So
yeah, but the thing is, that's the only one that we have access to because currently it's like old Gmail. It's invite only and to only one venue.
Yeah. So
I'm getting mine done on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna really get fucked with this because it's an interesting barometer because anytime one of us gets sick, I'll get sick and I will get sick. I get really sick. Because my immune system is fucking garbage for days. And then Wib's like, oh, I've got a bit of a sniffle. No, I'm fine. And I'm like, I'm glad, because I don't want to see someone I care about suffer, to get real for a moment. But, I know it's going to really mess me up.
Well, maybe not, because it's not the same as, a regular illness thing, you know.
No.
It's not quite the same thing. So.
I don't want to get a vaccine for a virus I don't have. Thank you very much. I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
Get vaxxed, wear a mask, respect social... As if I need to tell anyone in the audience this. We're all fucking sensible individuals.
Grown-ups. But yeah, so I got that. Yeah, it was kind of wild. I got, I was wondering, when am I going to get, a note saying that that's the thing I'll have? And then I got a text message.
It's like Bill Gates was already spying on you. What the fuck?
And then I got a text message saying it, and then it was tomorrow afternoon. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
See, mine's a couple of days away, but you were saying, because I got a text when I woke up this morning being like, hey, go here and accept the invitation. And you were saying that somebody apparently got this the same day. And it's like, damn, that's efficient.
Yeah, you've already had your first one, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah, I had mine in mid-March, I think. Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah, you got it nice and early.
Yeah, are you booked into the second one?
Yeah,
it's an auto book.
Yeah.
I think we've got our second jab on the same day.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Because it, like, when you sign up for your first appointment, it just auto books you the next one. You don't at the same time as you chose before.
Shout out to all the NHS volunteers doing all this shit.
Yeah, because you are fucking saving the world, and we fucking love you. Jesus Christ,
You folks, fucking great.
And yeah, just oh my god, you're amazing.
But yeah, we should probably get on to talking about
the video game and popular culture podcast thing that we do.
Yeah, I
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh that loud.
really, this is just the chat that we have every fortnight, you know?
Yeah. That people listen to, and it's really nice that people like it.
It is.
It makes me really happy. It's like, especially when your dad listens and he's like, so what you said about foreskin? And I'm like, Kevin, no.
Yeah, that does happen. Hey, Dad.
Sorry about all the cum.
Hopefully we won't talk about it as much in this episode, but
you've just jinxed it. Nice one.
It just happens. We don't plan it. Sometimes it just comes up. Anyway, Matt, what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks?
Describe it to us, sweetness.
I've done a couple of bits. Well, we finished watching the first 2 series of Money Heist. I think I mentioned it. Was it in the last episode?
Yes.
It's the Spanish heist thing where they try and rob the Spanish Royal Mint.
I think you mean the Spanolo.
What?
It's a very deep joke.
Okay.
It was from a WikiHow article image, and instead of writing Espanol, they wrote Spanolo, which is like you only Spanish once. No, no, it's the Italian word for Spanish, which was just really weird. So it had Deutsch, English, Francais, Spagnolo,
Okay.
Italiano. So yeah.
Okay.
Carry on, Money Heist.
So we watched slight spoilers in the sense that the vague series structure, but we got to the end of the first series, or I think they're called parts because that's what Netflix does now, apparently.
Because it's all fancy. Yeah.
And they're still mid heist. So then, and I was like, well, there's 4 parts. So are they going to stretch this heist over the whole all 4 series, or? And I was like, well, that's going to drag it on a bit. And I was like, I just want to see if they do it or not. So I kind of can't be asked if it's going to be another 4 seasons. Like it's enjoyable to watch, but I was like, the enjoyment of it was trying to work out if they were going to get away with it or not. And I was like, well, if they just drag this on indefinitely, I kind of can't be asked. But so at the end of the second series is where they resolve that heist. And I was like, okay. So that's okay. Yeah, after watching it all, it's a weird one. I recommend it, but we're not going to bother watching the next 2 series for a while. Which is like, but why would you recommend it? It's like, no, it is good. I'm just kind of want a break from it, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Because I think they go off, I presume they go off and do another heist in the next 2 series.
What, in Money Heist? Are you fucking high?
Wait,
the rest of it's actually a rom-com set in a bakery.
Yeah, it's I can't remember Spanish. I'm on the spot. It was going to be a terrible bread pun, but now I forgot the Spanish word for bread.
That's okay. Someone in the comments will tell us the Spanish word for bread.
Good.
I'm just going to Google it. No one tell me the Spanish word for fucking bread.
Can they tell you how to say fucking bread, though?
I know how to say
as in how to have sex with some form of bread product.
Probably.
Yeah, that's homework for the listeners.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, that is not homework for the listeners. Don't do this. If you speak Spanish, I'm sorry that Wib is just a thing. I'm so sick of having to be being the anchor of this fucking podcast. Okay, I'm the wrangler. I'm the wrangler of this podcast. I'm wrangling.
You see, you can't even manage to maintain a straight man bit for like a single sentence.
Well, I'm not a straight man.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what the fuck I am. I'm straight, but then don't think about gender because what?
Yeah, it gets confusing.
It gets very confusing.
Anyway, yes.
You were saying Spanolo.
I mean, I wasn't, but you were. No, Money Heist is good. It's because they're all in this thing, a very high pressure situation for like 10 days or whatever they're playing there. Everyone falls out with everyone, all of the relationships fall apart and then get back together, and it's really interesting watching all the dynamics of it, to the point where at the end you're like, okay, so now at this point I'm on the side of 2 of the people doing the heist. the main character who's like does the narration and things. So when you start watching it, you assume she's going to be the main character, and actually she doesn't really have much of a bigger role than the rest of them. But she happens to be the narrator. You like her less and less as it goes through. So I was like, I don't want her to win, but I want a few of the people doing the heist to win. But I also want one of the police people to win. But now,
that's the first time you'll ever say that.
Well, yeah, not the rest of the police, because they're all the worst, but some of them. And you're like, I don't know what I want, what outcome I want from this. And it does, again, slight spoilers. I'm not going to say anything about it, but does have a big cheesy, almost like cliched Hollywood ending, like more than Hollywood ending would be a little bit. And you're like, okay, I kind of hoped it would be after how like complex all the characters are the whole way through, you're kind of like, I kind of was hoping for a bit more than that at the end. But
someone just comes out and goes, fellas, why are you arguing? You can both marry me. And then they fire guns into the sky.
I mean,
but it's in Spanish, obviously.
Yeah, in Spanish. Yeah.
The vaqueros come out and they're like, yeah, and start firing guns in the air.
But yeah, it's good, and I do recommend give it a go if you're into the heist thing. It's a slightly longer payoff than I wanted, but also it's
so is a heist. Heyo.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm funny.
Sorry, I didn't know how to react to that.
Suck a dick, that was funny. I hate you both. All you do is you make me feel bad about myself day in, day out. I'm not going to be this stifled flame that you keep in the windowsill. I'm busting out. I don't need this repression. Anyway, what were you saying, Matt?
Yeah, check it out. The other thing we've been watching, after a few recommendations, well, we've mentioned it before, but I was looking for something that I've completely forgotten the name, but one of the actors from Sense8, which I wouldn't recommend, I think I mentioned, but one of the actors was really good. She's South Korean, and we were looking up at other things she'd been in, and one of the things was Kingdom. And just when we learnt that, we had a bunch of people email in saying, you should check out this, like completely unconnected, check out this South Korean zombie series called Kingdom. And we were like, that's a weird coincidence. So it's been on the list for a while, and we've watched the first couple of episodes of it. And, it's good so far.
Twist.
It's good.
Plot twist, you have an Amazon Echo, and those were all Amazon employees that listen to the podcast.
Yeah, potentially, right? I mean, I don't have one of those, but I mean, I have a phone, which is essentially the same thing.
You've had part 1 of the COVID vaccine.
Oh, yeah, it's already in my blood. Yeah.
So everyone working for Microsoft...
It took a while to upload, because I've not had the second dose, so I've not got the 5G enabled, as we've mentioned. So it took a little while.
I mean, I'm just jealous, because I ain't got neither. I ain't got the primer, nor the actual activation code.
But yeah, Kingdom is really good so far. So for those,
it's a South
Korean zombie film, but it's set in like, I want to say like medieval times, but it's a historical thing. So it's set in like, I don't even know what year. And also this is not a good thing, but my knowledge of like Korean history is so little. When they were watching it, I was like, with all the the costumes are amazing, but I was like, I genuinely don't know if these are like historical costumes or if it's like a parallel world or alternate world or sort of setting. Like it could be a fantasy setting and it just happens to be made in South Korea, so all the actors and everything are South Korean, but it could be a fantasy setting. And we have no idea, which is because our knowledge of Korean history is so little. And we looked into it and we're like, oh no, okay, it's set in. So yeah, it's cool. It's like a period drama, but also then zombies. But
you see, I have seen it floating around Netflix, and I've been like, I've been tempted. But
zombies. I know. I was completely done with zombies, but this is different, and not for the same reason that it's not like normal zombie things. It's it's actually about the characters and not the zombies. Which is
this isn't like a normal giant monster film. It's about the characters, not the monsters. Congratulations, all of them are.
Yeah, it's not different.
The only thing in my heart I have space left for zombies wise is Resident Evil, and even then that's fucking pushing it.
But no, this is different enough because it's just such a different setting.
Yeah,
it's just like, actually, this is interesting, and the zombies are. I mean, so far they're not the main part of it yet, really. Although I presume they will be at some point. Yeah, I
mean, as long as it doesn't get into like Twilight of the Dead like levels where it's like, no, they just want a home, and then they let the zombies go, and it's just like,
oh no, these zombies aren't good. From what we've seen of them so far, these zombies are not going to do that.
Are they shamblers or are they runners?
Oh, that's the point. We haven't really seen them move that much. We've just seen them like
milling about.
No, being in very close quarters with people. So I've not seen them like chase people yet. So I don't know. I can't answer that. It's a key zombie question. I'll find out.
Thank you. Please do
I'll
your
update
homework
you
and
next
come
time.
back.
I will.
Yes, thank you.
You often find kind of interesting things with like Asian supernatural horrors and stuff, because I think we mentioned it last time. Like the tropes around these things are different.
Well, completely different cultures, so
like
it's like
how-
completely new to us. So.
Like is it the Chinese version of vampires are the ones that hop around?
Xiangqi.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
so.
hop because they used to corpses used to have two poles shoved underneath their arms, and they used to, so it looked like they were hopping.
Yeah.
Which is where it came from, which is so cool.
Yeah, and like just different ideas, so you
Yeah.
can get some very. It's always interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm very keen to. I mean, I'll be watching an episode now, but I've got to talk to you buggers. But
Wow.
I hear you. I've got
Motherfucker.
I've got a Warhammer model I'd be building if I wasn't talking to you fuckers.
I have to actually paint a model, and I have a time limit. So
Really?
fuck the lottiers. Yeah, I do.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
admittedly, you were told that you needed to paint it about 2 weeks ago.
Yes, but I have crippling depression and anxiety.
That is also true. Yeah.
Fun fact that isn't fun.
It's
In fact, it's the opposite of fun. It's unfun.
It is unfun. Funnant, you could say.
Well, I'm sure. Will we hear more details of this when we get to you?
Which part?
How I'm not having fun.
No, the painting.
The depression?
No,
or
the painting.
No,
Oh,
because
okay.
it's secret.
Ooh, okay.
Your big secret.
I'll tell you after.
Okay, excellent.
I'm not even sure it's really a secret.
It's not even a fucking secret, though. No. I just like to feel like I have secrets, Jake. A man needs
Okay.
secrets.
The last thing I've been doing is playing a game on the VR thingy. I've been playing Journey of the Gods, which is like as much of an RPG as it could get on the VR, because the games quite often aren't quite as in depth as like a proper RPG. It seems quite linear so far. So whether you can call it an RPG really, but it's like a fantasy.
Is it
You've got
pretty, though?
It is very pretty. And
Then it's an art PG.
okay, an art PG. Yeah. There's character upgrades and things after you collect items. So there's sort of role playing. Anyway, you're playing as you end up becoming seemingly a god. And as you go through, you're like a person, and you've got a sword and shield or a crossbow, which is really satisfying to shoot. It has just an ever so slight amount of like aim helping thing. Just enough to, because I've played quite a few VR games where it's shooting, and it's actually quite hard to be accurate. And it doesn't feel like cheating, but it just ever so slightly, if you're just going to miss ever so slightly, very subtly it seems to actually, because I was just like, oh, why am I actually like hitting things more often than not in this, whereas some other games I'm just missing everything. I was like, oh, it's
There's
doing
no
that.
way I could be getting better at this.
No, but like in a really good way, so I was quite satisfied with that. I could get better, but I'd rather just enjoy the games I'm playing.
Okay. Alright.
Why do I feel that's one of those statements that might be the most controversial thing you've said?
Yeah, well,
But it's like just so casually dropped in there.
I mean, this is the man that said he wasn't a fan of Ghostbusters, and everyone was like, okay. But this is the thing about having like any kind of public presence. You can just be like, I'm gonna say it. I don't like I don't like popular movie franchise that everyone adores, and you brace yourself for that impact. And everyone's like really reasonable and like, yeah, okay, so it's not for everyone. You're like, oh, that's great. And then you sit there and go, wow, I had to throw a bunch of grapes away earlier. Don't like grapes. And people are like, are you fucking serious? I'm gonna come to your fucking house and I'm gonna stab you in the fucking shit. And you're just like, okay. That's a strong opinion that I didn't realise was shocking or horrifying. But there we go. So I don't think anyone's going to give a shit. The fact that I've pointed it out, people are going to be mad that I said grapes are shit.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the takeaway.
No.
The takeaway
Red
is
grapes, which should be called fucking purple grapes, because fuck you. They're shit. They're they are scum. They need to be removed. We should edit them out.
like
I
red
think
grapes.
I prefer red grapes to green grapes.
Red grapes are way nicer than green grapes.
I hate both of you so much right now. Because they always have crunchy seeds, whereas you get the white seedless grapes. I don't even like grapes that much, but those ones are just supreme. They're better than the strawberry flavoured ones, anyway.
Anyway, Journey of the Gods, Matt.
Yeah, so you're a person and you wander around where you've got a sword and a shield and you have to fight monsters. But as you go, so there's that sort of side of it, which is, hack and slash, which is satisfying, and the crossbow, which is really fun. So both those things are good in VR. It is one where you just move around like normal. So again, I'm slowly getting used to that, and not like, not teleport around or jump within VR. You just use the analog stick to walk. So I still having to do the trick of just walking on the spot when I move, so I don't feel a bit sick, which is a bit weird. But I'm slowly getting used to that. But the twist with this is that as you go through, you will slowly unlock god powers. So you hold the squeezy buttons on the controller, and you go up to bird's eye view of the thing, and you look into god mode, and so far I can pull up trees from the ground to make them bigger, or squash them down to move them out of the way, and I can just reach your hand up to the clouds, grab on, and then you can throw lightning at things, which is quite satisfying in VR.
This feels very black and white.
Yeah,
do you remember that VR glove they had for black and white, where it was that you could move it around, but you had to click with the mouse because it couldn't click?
Yes, that was that motion sensitive hand thing before motion sensitivity was good. Yeah,
I've never actually played black and white, so this could well be just a copy of it for all I know, to be honest.
From what you've described, it is very not.
Okay, that's good.
Black and White 1's a bit frustrating. Black and White 2 is less frustrating, but is also less unique.
Okay.
So if you're going to play 1, I'd probably say Black and White 2 you'd get more
less buggy.
fun out of. But it's also the less interesting one as well. It's a weird...
Also, they're very hard and you can't skip cutscenes. Also, I just want to say, even frozen grapes, I think, are really bad.
Okay, let's put the grape discourse behind us.
No!
We can move on from this.
I can't get over this. It's why would you have grapes when you can have any other fruit?
Look, I'm not sitting there saying that grapes are the most...
Because they grow on a vine.
I'm not going to say that grapes are the superior fruit or anything, but I am saying... that it is perfectly okay to like red grapes.
No, it is, but they should be deleted from humanity's collective knowledge and thrown into the sun. Look, they are endangered, and we should just let them die. Quite frankly, nature has proven that white seedless grapes or green grapes, which is what they should be fucking called, are superior. Don't just sit back and look at me like you're my fucking therapist, okay? Do you talk to Jim when I'm not around? Do you actually talk to my fucking therapist?
I'm just letting you talk. I'm letting you get to the end of this path.
Right. Okay.
I'm not actually. Matt, carry on talking about the video game.
Okay. Yeah. So far, it's good. It's got a good mix of hacky slashy things. The monsters are quite varied and fun. You have to kill them in different ways. There's one that's it's all shieldy up and it opens up its shield to try and shoot you, so you've got to get it then, and another one shoots a thing at you which you've got to shoot to try and stun the other thing before you can attack it, and yeah, it's good so far. It's like I said, it's nowhere near the depth of a proper, he says in whatever that means, a proper RPG, but so far enjoying it. If you want a hack and slashy one, and his crossbow is quite good fun to shoot with, and you just have to pull a lever to reload it. It's little simple things, right? If this was just like a keyboard and mouse game, I'm like, all these things, I'm like, oh yeah, it's really fun to swing a sword around. You're like, well, yes, that's just how the game works. But with VR, you're like, all the basic things, they can feel really satisfying.
Yeah, just the things that are like the standard video game swing sword, shoot gun.
Yeah, exactly
suddenly become so much more immediate.
As soon as I was saying it, I was just like, the words coming out of my mouth. I was like, wait, I'm just saying you play the game like a game, but because it's a VR game, that makes it special apparently. But
it can't. It does. It also doesn't, but it does. I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Okay.
Snipe.
I'd like to retract my earlier statement. Red grapes can stay because red grape juice is the bomb.
Okay.
So
I'm glad that this is the end of your character arc for this podcast.
Yeah, insinuating I have a character. But yeah, sorry, Drumbly Bumbly, lovely with the little tumbly. What were you saying?
I was passing it over to you, Snipe.
It me?
You. I think.
I mean, it was originally supposed to be me that goes in the middle.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
But it's fine.
Everyone hears you talk all the time. So,
yeah, I know.
You know.
Yeah.
Wib, what have you been up to?
Okay. Yeah, I've been up to a few things.
Must be fucking nice.
So to mention something that I mentioned last time, I have watched more of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
So I did just want to say that I mentioned last time that I had some concerns with it about where it was heading. I just want to say that the last couple of episodes have addressed that stuff a little.
Okay. Oh, this is the one where the baddies are actually kind of goodies, or it seems that way.
That where the baddies are just...
They're just like, oh, we're gonna feed the poor. Like, oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, you bastards.
Where the baddies are just like, well, I mean, they're just right. They've done some stuff, and they've done some stuff that's kind of interesting with the new Captain America, because, yeah, there's a new
Kurt
Captain
Russell's
America.
kid?
Yes, I believe so.
Wyatt Russell.
Which has been very interesting, and I am interested to see where they go with that. I think it does still. I think still some of the problems I mentioned are still going to be present through the end, but they have at least made an attempt to address the points.
Hey,
So,
I mean, good
know,
on them for trying.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like when I said all that stuff last time, it was with the acknowledgement the series was halfway through. Like it wasn't done yet. Well, I say halfway through. I think it was like 3 episodes done at that point. But yeah, I've also been watching a series that's been on Amazon Prime, which is Invincible.
Oh.
Which I can't remember. Has any of us mentioned that before?
I don't know what it is. It's presumably a visual media.
It is indeed a television show.
Well, there we go. No, I haven't heard of it.
But yeah, it's based on a comic book by what's his name, Kirkman, who did
Robert Kirkman.
Right, yeah, who did
did
Walking
Battle
Dead
Pope.
and Battle Pope.
Oh,
I love that we go to Battle Pope rather than the tiered entertainment franchise that is Walking Dead.
yeah. No, I was immediately like, oh yeah, Battle Pope, that guy. Yeah, he's going places.
But yeah, he did a superhero series called Invincible.
Oh wait, yes, I know of this. I've seen a lot of memes where it's like some guy with black hair and a yellow suit.
Yeah.
With like bug eyes.
His name is Invincible.
Well, that's not a very.
Well, his name's actually Mark, but.
Okay.
Is he the one with the exclamation mark on his chest? In the comics?
No, that's the Fighting Evil mascot for our band, Drummer Matt.
He's not got an exclamation mark, it's an I. It's an
Drummer
upside down exclamation
Drummer
mark.
Matt will only watch TV if he is upside down.
Okay, true.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
Well, I think I have some of these comics actually. And that's that. I was trying to wonder. I was like, why do I recognise that name?
But yeah, it's
What, Mark? It's a very common name, actually. There's a lot of people called Mark knocking around.
Oh,
but yes,
off.
I got Drummer Matt to tell me to piss off.
The show is interesting. Not perfect. It is some stuff that's like a little bit like occasion. The animation is sometimes quite good, and occasionally, every now and again, there'll be a shot that's very cheap looking. Like, that's not to throw shade at the animators because they will just be working with whatever budget they have.
Yeah.
But, you can tell there's certain bits where they were like, we can just tween that bit.
How's the plotline going? Because it feels like it's aimed more at adult audiences.
Considering all the blood and cussing, yeah.
Okay, does it have anything as strange as Batman Beyond's main character's origin story?
God, it's going to come back to cum, isn't it? Semen has not featured in the plotline yet. To my memory.
Drummer Matt, would you
No,
like me
we're
to
not
inform
doing it.
you?
We're not doing it.
I want to just a quick bullet point. If Drummer Matt's curious, he can say no.
I mean, I feel like I can't at this point.
Well, I mean, you always can.
Yeah, okay. But for
Is
the
that a
sake
no or a yes?
no, for the sake of the audience and the dear
Okay.
listeners, I feel like they should
Okay.
know, I suppose.
Okay. So the Suicide Squad woman, Amanda Waller, decides that Batman's gonna get old and stop fighting crime eventually. So she steals his cum and injects it. and
Hang on, I feel like we need more details of that.
She steals his cum.
Yeah, how?
I don't know. It's rude to ask. So she steals his cum and gets it genetically modified so that if you inject someone else who produces sperm, it basically makes bat sperm take over that person's sperm, so that when you shoot a load and impregnate someone, it's actually just Batman's kid.
Well,
and that's where Terry
horribly
McGinnis came
unethical.
from. Yeah, and like she was literally
so many
gonna
levels.
get. Yeah, she also hired an assassin to kill this guy's parents at around the same age at the same kind of time, because they were like, well, we did inject him with the bat cum changer, so that he's like genetically like Batman's son, but that's not what makes a Batman. It's like unresolved childhood trauma does that. So let's do that. And then they don't, because they were like, oh, fuck.
Maybe that is a bit far.
Maybe that is a bit too far. So yeah.
The cum was fine, but no.
Yeah, the bat cum was fine.
Yeah, no, that has not shown up in Invincible.
I'm very glad.
It's been alright so far. There's been some very fun little moments and fun characters.
You know what? I will say it does remind me a bit of The Tick. Like the cartoon?
No, not
No,
really.
no, I mean like visually. It's just very, very striking, very primary colour.
I can maybe get that. Like, everyone's kind of an off-brand superhero, so... The main character's dad, who is also a superhero, is voiced by, what's his name? J.K. Simmons. So that's fun.
Oh, get me pictures of my son.
Yeah,
Because
so,
I want to put them
so
on my
that's
wall,
good.
because I'm proud of him.
I genuinely really do want to see where they're going with a lot of the stuff. I don't want to spoil any of it. But yeah, it's cool. Although there is one thing about it that does kind of bug me. And that is that they introduce each episode by having someone about to say the word Invincible, and then the title card comes up, which a couple of times works out really well. So, main character, someone going, like, when he first dons the suit, and they're like, who are you? And he's like, me? I'm, and then he's about to say his own name, and then the title card comes up with Invincible. Okay, that one works, but as the episodes go on, they have to get more and more tenuous to get someone to say the word Invincible, even though there is a character called it.
I really wanted to be someone who's like, oh god, like, wearing this cloak makes me feel like I'm nearly invisible, and then it pops up and it's like, oh.
No, that was the wrong word.
Like, nearly. It's like it pops up for a split second, like they've got the finger on the button.
But no, it's doing some interesting things, and I'm watching it, and I will see where it goes.
Yes.
In non TV show news, I have played some video games.
Ooh.
Quick bragging.
I mean, hell, we finished playing through Fire Warrior on stream, didn't we?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we finally played the Warhammer 40,000 game Fire Warrior all the way through. Yeah, the game really falls apart at the end. The final boss is really bad.
Yep.
It gives you zero feedback on if you're hurting it, and indeed, most weapons do not appear to be able to hurt it.
Yeah, a lot like rocket launchers and stuff seem to go right through it, and you're like, okay.
But then it turns out all you got to do is just unload like 4 clips of minigun ammo into it, and then it just dies. But at no point does it tell you that that it is even being hurt.
There is no visual indication of it taking any damage whatsoever.
So
not
that
flinching, not blood.
So that was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still think the game is to get that far.
Evidently not.
I think maybe not.
I do still feel that the game is somewhat unfairly maligned. It is
just incredibly average.
Yeah, it's a pretty average shooter for the time.
And I think if they hadn't have spent so much money on famous actors, then they probably would have fixed it up good.
I don't know. I'm actually okay with the last hour being a bit toss because we've got Tom Baker, Brian Blessed, Burt Kwok, and Sean Pertwee.
It's pretty solid. Pretty fucking solid.
That's actually a real solid voice cast, and I'm okay with it.
It is, but also I don't think that...
I know. But yeah, I've been playing the new Binding of Isaac expansion, Repentance.
Ooh, how is it?
It's pretty good. Because I've played a lot of the Binding of Isaac.
A lot.
Like,
You've got real platinum god.
Yeah, I have got real platinum god.
Yeah, that just anyone who knows anything about Binding of Isaac knows that that's an insane achievement to get.
It's honestly not. It's nowhere near as hard as it used to be.
You know, speaking of that, I was always also thinking the Hell and Hell mode is just too easy in Devil May Cry.
Compared to some people, I have played it a lot, but I've still only played it under 700 hours, meaning that
You're a filthy casual.
meaning that there's people who really like Binding of Isaac, and then there's Binding of Isaac players. You know what I mean?
No.
Some people have thousands of hours playing the game. But anyway, so I've played it a lot, and but I hadn't. And it's a game that I'll keep coming back to and just playing. I'll play like a few hours of here and there. Like I've always got it installed for that reason, you know.
It's a good podcast kind of game for you.
Yeah, just something to chill out playing. Now, this expansion has somewhat lessened its ability to be a relaxing game to play because it's a lot harder.
Oh, good.
Like all the stuff they've added, like there's new areas that you have access to, and some of the enemies and bosses in there they move in weird ass ways that are actually quite difficult to get your head around. And they've rebalanced a lot of items and things like so in the final area that you will get to in a normal playthrough of the game where you'd fight either Isaac or the Lamb. There's in one of them you have to like pay. You get lots of chests and you use keys to get inside them, and that's the payment. But in the one where you'd fight the Lamb, you'd just be able to open cases and they'd have shit inside them. Whereas now you have to like sacrifice hearts when you're there. To get items, which means that suddenly it goes from a lot of free items to make the final fight a lot easier, and the final area that's quite tough easier. Now you've got to sacrifice hearts to do it, so it's just overall been made. Yeah, it's been made more difficult to just generally play. As such, a lot of people I've seen are not super happy with the expansion.
Understandable.
Like, I'm okay with it, but that's less because of me thinking that the changes are good and more just I've played enough of it that I'm just happy to have a change, you know?
Yeah, a new challenge.
Yeah, so, like, I'm okay with it, but yeah, I've unlocked the two of the new characters because...
How many have been added? Or is that a good question?
From what I understand, there are 2 new characters, like entirely new characters.
Yeah.
And they have also added unlockable variant versions for every single character in the game.
Oh, that's
can
cool.
also be unlocked. One of the new characters is really interesting. I've forgotten their names, but it's actually 2 characters that you control at the same time.
Oh, yeah, so like V from DMC5.
No.
Well, no. I think it is.
No. This is where you control both characters using the same analog stick. So they both move in the same thing, but they are separate entities. So if one gets caught up on something, they will get caught up on it and the other one will keep moving. So you then have to jam them against a wall somewhere to get them back together again.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, they both have separate health bars and they collect upgrades separately. It's basically a version of the game that is there for people that thought, I only have to think about 8 things whilst I'm playing the game. I'd like another 5 more.
Basically, it's a character put in there to just shut those people up.
Are you one of those people?
Yeah. No, I can't. I've done greed mode using that character, but I don't know how.
Yes, greed mode.
Which is
Is that easier?
Standard greed mode's easier to beat in the main game, yeah.
Okay. For those of us who don't play thousands of hours of it.
A lot of the game is actually taken from a mod that was made for the game called Anti-Birth. And it's basically they've basically taken that mod and built on top of that. And that's what this expansion actually is.
Cool.
So yeah, some people aren't super happy about that because they're like, this was a mod and now I'm paying for it, sort of thing.
I understand.
Which I understand.
That. I understand both sides.
Yeah. But I didn't play Anti-Birth beyond like a couple of runs because it was kind of a pain in the arse to install. When I tried anyway, it probably got easier. But I'm enjoying it. It's just giving me a bunch more little targets to chip away at, because all that I had left before was stuff that I personally found nigh impossible, like unlocking the Forgotten, because that was that was horrible. But yeah. Last up in video game news, I just wanted to say that I played some Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 on stream the other day.
Oh.
Mostly because I'd found some YouTuber who I've already forgotten the name of, Marcel Voss, I think, who does Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 content, and I was like, oh,
The internet is truly for
this is
everyone.
amazing. There's just this whole channels are out there just dedicated to this ancient game that I love. And I found out lots of things about how the game actually works that aren't really apparent unless you dig into the code.
Yeah.
And because I've been watching those, I played a stream of it. And whilst I was streaming it, I made a maze that was 1 block long. So there was the entrance, there was the queue, the entrance, 1 block of maze that was just a straight line, and the exit.
So you made a turfed hallway.
Basically.
You basically just put grass on
You queued
a
up
corridor.
You queued up to look at a hedge.
Great.
And that was remarkably popular. It didn't make loads of money, but it did just do enough to, like, it paid for itself. And I was like, and while I was joking,
This is how fucking, like, the 1% and capitalists everywhere min-max workers, like, lives.
And
it's like, okay, so, you know, we could put them, we could just get the bare amount. Grassy corridor, perfect.
Now, because I've been watching these videos, I was like, I knew enough about how the back end of the game worked now that I was like, I wonder if you could actually beat the first level doing nothing but with only rides you build are these mazes. With just one thing.
Please stop calling them a maze.
They're
Call
not-
them a corridor.
It is technically a maze. That is what it is called. So after I finished the stream, I sat down for like 2 fucking hours and made the first map of the game, which is Crazy Castles, I think is the first one that you have in the list on Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 Vanilla. Anyway, and I was like, okay, let's try and do this. I built 170 of these mazes, I believe. And yeah, I passed the goal. Good. I beat the first level. I did build shops and things, so I had regular shops to help.
Oh yeah, it'd be weird if you didn't.
It'd be weird if I didn't. But yeah,
did you need toilets, or
worked.
can people just piss on the hedge?
No, I did build toilets.
And also, if, like, you know, if a lot of people piss on the same hedge, it'll just kill the hedge.
Well, yeah, but that's why he's got 171 of them.
Yeah, so a bush
Are
for
you rebranding as like
a piss bush for every customer.
No, not a piss bush. Do you remember where we used to live? Right next to my parents' house, there was that piss bush.
Yeah, there was a bush that smelled like piss. Yeah.
Anytime there was like the temperature over like 15 degrees Celsius, it would just reek of piss. Which, honestly, the fact that it was next to my parents' house probably should have told me that.
Yeah.
It was obvious. Yeah. It's like, yes, every time the temperature raised, my father would go out and dump
his piss.
Dump his piss there.
He was a bit of a piss dumper.
Oh, he was a big piss dumper. Couldn't stop him from dumping piss all day.
But yeah, so
What are you doing, Dad? Piss dumping. Yeah, figured.
Yeah, I was weirdly proud of my self-imposed challenge to do such a ridiculous thing, and I think I'm going to try and do some more of them. Like, just decide some really bizarre, like, things.
Weird things.
Yeah,
See
weird
how much you can cheese
self-imposed things. I may at some point stream some of these.
That sounds like fun. I think a lot of people would enjoy that.
Yeah, they'd like to see me build the same maze 170 times.
People have already watched you do this. Wait,
True,
no.
true. Well, they've watched me play the game enough times on stream, so, you know.
Yeah.
To move away from video games, one of the things I've been doing that's taken up a lot of my time is I may have bought a Bane Blade. And
You can neither confirm nor deny.
and have been building a super heavy for my Rebel Grots. Yeah, that is a thing, what I've been doing.
And also, like, I just want to put a very, very gentle and friendly reminder. or statement. Wib knows what he's doing to his tank. So, just don't suggest stuff. Because he's got it all mapped out. As sweet as it is to suggest stuff, don't. Because it's stressful. And if you have, then naughty. You've been naughty.
But yeah, so I have been building that. My painting log is going to be super fucking short this month because
Hi everyone, I painted half of this. Bye.
Well, no, it's like I have painted I've painted 3 models, but I've spent the last couple of weeks
just modifying a Baneblade.
Yeah,
which is no simple task.
Because just building it is it's a big model, so it would take just to build it completely out the box would probably take you a couple of days to build, like regardless. And if you were just doing it if you only were doing it like a little bit each day, then it'd take you a while. But I've been heavily magnetizing it and customizing it for my grots, because basically I've made it so that I can run it either as a shadow sword, because I wanted to run it as the thing with the biggest gun.
Yeah,
you can just look me in the eyes and tell me to go fuck myself with my super heavies, right? And my dreadnought army. Now that I have 2 fucking
you have 2 knights now,
2
because I gave you
Imperial
mine.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's just say that the big gun of a shadow sword is the sort of thing usually mounted on a Titan.
Yep.
And it gets bonuses for shooting things with the Titanic keyword.
Yep.
And it does and every shot that goes through does 2d6 damage.
Yep.
And it can do a maximum of 9 shots per thing, because it's not a blast.
I'm starting to
weapon.
see why you gave me your fucking knight. So I
I gave you the knight before I even planned this.
Really?
Yeah, I
really?
did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear. Because I you know what happens if you break a pinky swear? I snap your fucking pinky off and I eat it.
That's not how that works.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Anyway, the other thing that I'll be able to run it as is a kill tank, which is an actual orc super heavy. So I've got the different weapons and loadouts so that it can be either of the kill tank variants, or it can be a shadow sword. Because obviously, if I'm running it in a matched play game, I wouldn't be able to run it as a shadow sword unless my opponent lets me bend the rules. Because they don't share a keyword and it screws with your battle forging nonsense. Because I legit hate it how the Imperium, if you play an Imperial army, you can have a force that's made of a soup of Imperial Guard,
soup?
Space Marines.
A soup?
Yeah, it's referred to as a soup. Yeah, that's actually the term.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I hate soup.
But yeah, it could be Imperial Guard and
soup.
Space Marine and Knights and Custodes and Sisters of Battle. You can just have all these things together. But if you play, say, Orcs, just go fuck yourself. You have Orc stuff and that's it.
It's because, Imperial's the most, widely played army, so they're gonna make sure that stuff's a bit more refined. Just because more people play. It's an annoying... They're suffering from success.
Yeah, no, but it just kind of sucks that some races have these options and some
don't.
Like
Absolutely.
even Eldar can do that with Dark Eldar and fucking Yannari. So
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to see this thing, if you check out my Twitter at WibDoesTweets, I've been uploading progress stuff of it, and it's nearing completion.
And if you follow his 18 plus Twitter at WibDoesFeats, you get feet pics every day.
That is not a thing.
Maybe it should.
Yeah,
comment below. Do you want at WibDoesFeats and then just him to post feet pics?
I mean, someone at this point has already set it up, so
yes.
Yeah.
Before we've even edited this and posted
somehow,
it, someone's like,
This where we find out that someone's made a secret Twitter that's categorized any time that my feet have happened to show up in a video or whatever.
Okay, but there is literally a site called WikiFeet that does
I know.
that. There is
I
actually
know.
a site that does that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
They rate feet.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't, but I know. One final thing to mention is that we also played our first session of Soulbound
Yeah.
the other day.
I saw you did this on Twitter, and I have to admit, I don't know what that is.
Soulbound is an Age of Sigmar tabletop role-playing game, akin to your Dungeons and or Dragons,
cool.
but set in the Age of Sigmar world.
And mechanically, a little different.
And mechanically, incredibly simple. We won't going to talk about the full kind of thing properly.
Until it's because it's a 2-3 session jobber.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll wait until that's done before we kind of recount the story of what's gone on. But I just want to mention it because mechanically it's kind of interesting because it works by like you roll a bunch of you roll like a bunch of d6s to like see if you hit something, and it is like, oh, if their defense is like 1 point better than yours, then it's a 5+, and every 5+ you roll is
and like the skill things like, oh, you say like my character is a bright mage, so I get 4 dice to roll, and I get like maybe an extra 1 or whatever depending on my my buffs, and I roll them, and it's like, oh, you need 2 5s because it's it's like, okay, so it's like, and then you get like you tend to get extra points of damage inflicted for extra successes on a good few things.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Also, Stormcast are broken.
Yeah, we have found out that the not only does it, there are certain, at least at this first level, we don't know how it is going forward, but some characters, wow, do they hit a lot harder than others. Stormcast, pretty fucking hardy.
Oh, they're tanks. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Spellcast,
because you've got a fantasy-based-ish setting, but then just Space Marines in it.
They're Sigmarines, technically.
Because Snipe's playing just a human bright mage.
Much to my chagrin.
And you got your shit rocked. A boat fell on you.
Destroyed. We're not going to go into it, but fucking hell, did I... Like, people were like, she's going to fucking die.
Yeah.
Oh my god. First fight, she's going to die.
It does seem like, because there's we're running off a standard...
starter
module, and wow, it does not fuck around.
It is brutal.
You could very easily get your party
TPK'd so easy on
that.
that.
If you happen to have if you didn't have some characters that were able to take a bit of damage in your party, I could see that could get your party
if we didn't have a Stormcast with us, I think we would have TPK'd.
I mean, Hobby's character was also fine.
Hobby's character was pretty good.
I forget what specific class they were playing. But it's a type of Sylvaneth. It's a big tree.
Yeah, we're still...
Big tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, it's quite simple. But I will say that the rule book for it is written in that unique and interesting way that the Realm of Chaos books were, which is where it will convey simple concepts but spread them about the book in such a manner that you don't understand them until you actually sit down and try and play them, because it just explains them so poorly.
A lot of flipping back and forth and pages making no fucking sense.
Like, oh, this part of character creation, you go to page 73, and then the next part, page 43, and then the next page, 272. Like, and just keep going backwards and forwards throughout the book, and then it'll explain like how a part of the rules works like 200 pages earlier than the next part, and it makes it quite hard to take in. And it's weird because when you actually get your head around the rules, they're super simple. Like the basic rules, incredibly easy to get your head around. But yeah, we'll talk more about it next time. But it does seem quite fun, and it's quite quick to go through and do stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to see your characters get horribly mutilated, fucking go for it.
Yeah. All I'll do is put some stuff into reflex, and oh my god, if you can get something that has more than 1 armor point, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because wow, does stuff eat through you if you've only got 1 armor point.
Yeah.
Although I am a dwarf with a balloon strapped to his back with a minigun, so that's quite fun. But yeah, that is me done. So, Snipe.
It me.
It is you.
You.
What, my dear, have you been up to?
Well, I've been, as aforementioned, I have been having a little bit of a shaky time with my mental health lately. Which is not the funnest. But, you know, I've taken up felting.
You have, yes.
Yeah. And I made a little flamingo called Mushroom from a little kit I got. And Twitter was so nice to me about little Mushroom that I just basically had a blue screen and couldn't reply for 4 days. Because everyone was so nice, and then we're like, oh, I love Mushroom, I'd die for him. Which, anytime someone says, I love X, I would die for Y, I would die for them, it takes every ounce of strength in my fucking mighty body to not turn around and go, you don't have a choice. Because it's just, it's the funniest response in my head, but also, if you're not, in-person friends with me, you're gonna think that I'm threatening you and I'm gonna fucking murder you or something. So I always worry. But yeah, no, that's been fun. It's really, really fun. I tried crocheting and that shit was tedious. I hate it. But no, felting is great because you just stab a bunch of floofy wool. And then it turns into like a Pokeball or a little. I've made a bunch of things.
Yeah, after you followed like a guide to make a flamingo, like you instantly then went out, got some more wool stuff, and then just made a lunar pea from
Sailor Moon. Which is just like it's a little cat ball like device. And I was like, yeah, I can just do this. Yeah. And it's really nice because I mean it does have a high skill ceiling, but the entry to it is very easy. Just because it's, especially because like, you know, with the pre-made kits, because I got a pre-made flamingo kit because of course I did, it's like literally just like instructions on a postcard. It's like, oh, you know, gently like pull the wool apart, and then just repeatedly with one of the needles just keep poking it, you know, until it's like, you know, the more you stab it, the denser and more matted it'll be. And the less, of course, the fluffier it'll be. And it's just like, this is really cool. And you kind of build off it. It's a lot of fun. And it's been, you know, keeping me happy because it makes me feel like I'm doing something new and interesting because I am. And then nice. I did a hiccup. But yeah, so that's been fun. I've been having fun with that. I've been listening to a new horror podcast.
Yes.
Surprising fucking no one. It's called The Wrong Station. And the guy who...
Is it anything like The Wrong Trousers?
Yes! It's a 1-1 recreation of it.
Oh, wow.
But
is
there's
there a penguin?
Murder. Yes.
Cool. Is there the train set scene with the dog?
Yeah, and it's
laying
weird,
it down?
because all you can do is hear it, and you're like, well, I guess that's laying track as you're kind of going on. No, you idiot.
Legit, if you played me the sound effect of Gromit laying down the track, I'd be able to tell you what it was instantly.
I think it's as much of an institution as like Warhammer is for English/British youth.
Yeah, I'd also just like to put it out there throughout this podcast. If you hear any bumps or weird noises, our neighbours are either.
I think they're wrestling. I think that sounds like a powerbomb to me.
They're wrestling or trying to read. I'm not sure which.
Maybe they're doing both, and that's why there's so much violence. I mean, we just don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry if any of that ends up in the final edit, because they just are being fucking noisy, apparently.
Because we're the only ones who actually understand that, you know, other people fucking live here. Anyway, it's not like a horror anthology podcast like Old Guards of Appalachia. It's just like a collection of random stories told in a very similar kind of way, where it's like, you know, the main guy who does it has such an American like 50s TV voice. It's amazing. He's like, well, hi there. Please come in, have a seat. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Maybe some bourbon. And you're just like, oh wow, that's really charming. And he does bring in the occasional like extra person, but yeah, and it's kind of just like recalling spooky stories and stuff, and it's like, no, that's cool. Or it's like it's addressed to the listener, and it's like, you know, so like it's kind of set up so it's like, oh, come in, you know, I'll fix you a drink. I don't mind helping you you know, get in contact with someone, you know, getting a flat tire on that road stuff, you know, that kind of thing, where it's kind of like they're addressing you, the listener, which is, I dig it, that's cool. Yeah. And yeah, I've just been enjoying that a lot. And it's very fun. But yeah. I have been doing other things, I swear, but it's just not new stuff, so...
It's okay.
I watched the movie Prospect, and... I love it. Okay, so those of you who are very eagle-eyed might notice that I'm on a bit of a Pedro Pascal kick right now.
Really?
I hide it well.
Okay.
Yeah, ooh. Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very sneaky. To the point where I get, like, every other day I get someone pretending to be Pedro Pascal PMing me on Instagram being like, hey.
You do, and sometimes they get really petulant when you
mad.
When you call them on their lies.
Yeah, I'm
it's
like...
very funny.
I'm like, I spent fucking, like, 15 minutes on that Photoshop to send to that lady who claimed to be his personal manager, where it's like, I Photoshopped a Instagram DM that made it look, and it was... very well done, I will say, tooting my own horn.
You have a lot of experience with Photoshop. You can do a convincing fake.
Yeah, and it was just me basically talking to Pedro Pascal's official account going, hey, this lady's pretending to be your personal manager? And then me replying to myself going, what? Okay, I've not heard of her. Yeah, could you sort that out for me, Frankie? And I was like, you got it, Pedrito. And yeah, I sent it to her and she panic blocked me like immediately. It was really fucking funny. Honestly, I was really upset. I was really hoping she'd double down, but then another person messaged me, and they were, I just want to give back to my fans, and I'm like, that's interesting that you say that. Like, what? Yeah, because, what's it they said? They were like, yeah, I just want to give my fans some closure, and I'm like, and what is that supposed to mean? And then they got like, I can't chat to my fans. Is what, is it illegal now? And I was like, no, but impersonating a public figure absolutely is. And they were like, you know what? To hell with you. I wanted to talk to you as a fan, but now I'm just going to block you, bitch. And I'm like, yeah, as if I didn't need any more convincing that this isn't who you say you are. Oh my god, I get so many people in my DMs being like, hey girl, I'm getting harassed by some people who are pretending to be like a gay organization going, hey, we're looking for brand ambassadors. And it's like, no, you're not. And I've just like started responding to them with the why the fuck you lying picture. or GIF, and just blocking them and reporting them because they're so fucking tedious. It's like, ugh. It's annoying.
Yes.
It's really annoying. But yeah. Prospect is a movie. It's a sci-fi, and it's quite a claustrophobic one. There's not many characters in it. Obviously, Pedro Pascal is in it. All the acting is really good. Like every actor in that is top notch, very very good. And it feels like this is like those kind of movies or like bits of media where you jump in and you're like, fuck, this is a whole like universe that I've just been plopped into. I there's so much I don't know.
A very fully realized world.
Yeah. And like, so it's like, it starts off with C and her dad. She's like 14, 15-year-old kid.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Is this something that I should watch, given that this is a sci-fi thing?
Yes. You should watch it, because it is real good.
Okay. Can I ask you a favour, then?
I won't spoil anything.
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically, as it says, Prospect, it's about, like, a father and daughter team who are going to this planet to get some resources and bring them back so they can hit pay dirt, basically. And wacky sci-fi adventures happen along the way. And like, I think it hit a lot of chords with me personally. And this is probably not going to affect a lot of other people like this. But it's like at the ending, after watching it, I just had to sit down and fucking cry. Oh. And I cried hard. And it wasn't like, oh, this is so sad, and it wasn't angry to. It was very hard to explain, but like, yeah, I just got like, there's a few things in that, and I'm just like, this hits fucking home.
It hit a few nerves.
It really struck a few nerves that I didn't know were still that raw, but there we go. Brilliantly acted. The characters are so good. Oh, it's great. Prospect. Go watch it. Do yourself a favour. It's fantastic. And I'm not going to spoil it because Wib's like giving me the cute puppy dog. But yeah, no, it's really fun. And it's that kind of sci-fi where everything is a bit shit. So I know you'll love it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the dilapidated future.
Yeah, yeah.
I realised there's something I really meant to mention and I completely forgot to note down. Because I don't know, this might be something that Matt might like.
Is it at Wib Does Feet?
It is not at Wib Does Feet. No, so I've talked before on the podcast about a guy called Jeff Rosenstock, who is
he's badass.
A musical artist who I am a very big...
industry.
Bomb the music industry.
He was in Bomb the Music Industry and Arrogant Sons of Bitches, and he's been doing a lot of stuff recently as his own, like, solo project, although it's really just a band that's named after him. Well, actually, the band is called Death Rosenstock. When they tour, that's what they go under.
That's real cool.
But the last album that was released was called No Dream, and that was released. Was it? I think it was last year sometime.
Honestly, time is an
Who
irrelevant
knows?
construct.
Yeah.
It's worm time, baby.
On April the 1st, because his band, he used to be in Arrogant Sons of Bitches, who were a straight ska punk band, and then he did Bomb the Music Industry, which also started off as kind of a ska punk thing, and then eventually kind of morphed into a more kind of just regular kind of punky thing.
Yeah.
But he uploaded a cover art for the album No Dream, but changed so it was Scar Dream. And it had like...
That's bad.
Like the cover image has like a melting house, and on top of the melting house...
Did you share this picture?
Yes. Yeah, and...
Did you share it on your Twitter?
Yes, and on top of the house is a skanking Walt Jabsco.
Walt Jabsco, for those of you who don't know, if you've ever seen like a badly drawn cartoon black and white dude with sunglasses on and a trilby and a suit doing a little kind of jig, that's Walt Jabsco.
Yeah.
He's basically, like, that image is synonymous with ska.
He was the mascot for Two Tone Records, if I remember correctly, is his origin point.
Okay.
And yeah, and everyone was like, so, you used to do ska stuff, you don't really anymore, but that's a fun April Fool's jape. Then on 420, he was like, it wasn't a joke, you guys, and he'd re-released the whole album, but all the songs were reworked to be ska songs
with awful ska. Because, okay, again, if people aren't familiar, ska bands are shits with awful fucking ska puns. Like the band Battle Ska Galactica, or Get Your Ska Out of My Driveway.
Yeah.
We are awful people.
But
we have like the most normal ska punk name.
But yeah, so they're all changed. All the names were changed
to protect the innocent.
To be a little different. Like one of the songs off the album, which is called Scram, was changed so that it would have a K rather than a C, and the S, K, and A are capitalised in it. That's the level of terrible naming concept we're working with.
I would have changed it to Scarm.
Scam.
Scarm.
But a bunch of other people came, did like little cameos on it as well. So like, Jeremy of Scartoon Network fame.
Yeah, Scartoon Network. Everyone go follow them. They're great.
They did all the horn work on it. So that was really cool. And yeah, that felt like a present made specifically for me to take an album I already really liked from an artist I really, really like.
And give it some scarification.
And then remake the whole thing as a ska album. That was a present for me personally.
I think maybe like Jeff Rosenstock is trying to get you to notice him. He's like, hey, Web, just so you know.
Jeff, I have noticed you. Do not worry.
Hey, it's like, hi, this is my husband, Wib, and this is his boyfriend, Jeff.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that because that was just the coolest thing, and I was like, yeah,
that is cool.
That is very good. I was very happy that was a thing. What happened? But yeah, did you have anything more you wanted to say before I rudely interrupted you, my dear?
Rudely? Not I think that's everything. Go watch Prospect. It's really good. And honestly, I'm getting emotional talking about it, so let's move on.
Okay. So, Matthew,
Yes.
do you have some questions from the lovely, lovely listeners?
I
Lovely,
do.
lovely
Lovely,
listeners.
lovely listeners.
And
Lovely,
Snipe.
lovely. Don't you fucking do this.
Snipe.
Don't you fucking do this. to
What
me. I swear
email
you fucking
address?
You absolute fucking fool. I swear to
What
fucking God, I will
email
stab you
address
fucking
should
I
the
will pop
lovely,
you the fuck
lovely,
off.
lovely people send their questions to?
onlydrummermat@gmail.com.
Close.
thedrummermat@gmail.com. Whoops! Oh, yuck it up, Pilgrim. Yuck it up.
No, don't make a note to cut that. No, that's staying in.
I
No,
hate you. I hate you
no,
so much.
that's
I hate you so
staying
fucking
in.
much. I'm gonna shit in your fucking
No,
cereal.
that's-
you fucking
that's-
piece of shit. You absolutely nonce.
Okay. What? Send it to thedrummermat@gmail.com.
Gee, if you knew it, why the fuck did you make me get it wrong?
Because I was the one that was doing the introductory phrasing.
I'm gonna
and
pop your kneecaps off.
whoever does that always has to pass it to someone.
I hate you.
That's the rules.
You're horrible.
What are the questions that we have been sent?
Hockey ducky. So, first up, we've got Mikkel.
Hello, Mikkel.
What is a colour scheme you guys would like to try in the future? Presumably Warhammer based or like
Yeah, I was gonna say.
model
Oh,
based.
presumably, yeah. I have had a bunch of Fire Warriors that I've just not really ever done anything with, but I really wanted to have them be like black, grey, and red. I got a Vallejo red. It's a real nice deep crimson, and a couple of coats of that are so nice and beautiful. So I want kind of like, yeah, like that kind of thing. Because I mean, with my Tyranids, they're kind of like bone black and like purple and hot pink, which is probably the most extreme one I've got, and I do love it, but I've done it, so yeah, I can't say that that's something I'm gonna do because I've already done it.
One that I have already made a little bit of a start on, I guess. I've done like 2 models of it, and is one that I'm like looking forward to finally getting enough models to like actually get some more force together for it. Which is I was going to do Lamenters.
Oh yeah, because you're an amazing award-winning painter, and you got to show that off.
Technically, we are both like prize-winning painters. It is
Yeah,
true.
I'm only good if I can
Technically.
paint fur or pus.
Yes,
Those are my 2 speeds.
you can paint decaying flesh and fur. Those are the 2 things you're very good at doing. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so yeah, I've got that's something I've wanted to do, or I've been wanting to get onto, but I've technically already done a couple models of it, so I guess that doesn't count.
I'd say that counts because, you know, otherwise you probably won't have an answer.
I would kind of like to do something really, really vibrant,
Like my little gribbles.
I guess I would like to try and
You want
make
to use
pink work.
You want to use my hot pink.
Yeah,
Just
making
admit it.
pink work. I would quite like to have a shot at that.
It's so fun to mess with. It's so good. Oh, it's great. And we've got purple wash that is perfect for like, you know, some shadows and depth to it. Brilliant. Gorgeous. Love it.
But yeah, have you got anything, Matt?
I just love to give a go painting with like the new fangled technique that is inks and washes.
In this day and age.
Because I think I've said before, my Tau army, I started painting it so long ago. It's like it's undercoated black, and then I paint the like Tau. I think it's like it was Tau Sept Ochre. I don't know if that was the old name or the new name for it, but anyway, the Tau colour over it, and then highlight on the edges with, I don't know, bleach bone or whatever it is. But like it's very much a built up like that. But I don't ink anything to do the shadows because all the shadows in between the panels are all the black from the undercoat. So I've just never given a try to any of the inks or washes or the new contrast stuff or anything.
Well, I mean,
that's
if
more
you
adventurous
do,
than that.
like, with your little mustard boys, don't use black because it makes it look filthy. Use, like, Reichland Flesh Shade.
Well, I won't change for this army, but like if and when I get round to doing a new army,
Yeah.
which might happen one day, who knows? I've been talking about it for years, but one day it might happen.
I mean, one day, presumably, your child is gonna, I don't know, move out or go to university, so, you know,
Eventually.
you've got to twiddle your thumbs till then, it's fine.
But yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
I will say, provided you don't overdo them, because it's very easy to go a bit overboard with them. Washers are a really good way of very quickly making a model have a shit ton of more depth. And contrast is similarly useful. but it's not the miracle liquid that everyone thought it was going to be when it was coming out.
Are you talking about washes or contrast?
Contrast there.
I'm sure you say washes, pardon me.
I started talking about washes and then I said contrast.
I was thinking about pie.
You were away.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
You were thinking about Pedro Pascal.
Oh, you know, Violet is like, she is my farmer sister delivering my daily dose of vitamin P. She sends me pictures of Pedro Pascal being like, hey girl, this is your daily dose. I'm like, I fucking love you, Violet. She just gets me, you know? Also, hi, Vivi.
Hello.
She's going to send me one as soon as she hears this.
But I think you would probably get on quite well with them once you had a bit of a chance to play with them. They do make a lot of things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Especially if you're used to kind of doing it the hard way. So.
Yeah. All right, next up.
Oh my god, that reminds me very quickly. I was in a shop the other day, and the guy behind the counter was ringing me up, and he was like maybe a few years younger than me, and he was like, okay, that comes to $4.69, and both of us went, and then went, oh, like, oh shit, neither of us are supposed to do that. Oh no. I just wanted to like mention that because it was very, very funny. Just like,
excellent.
No, this is no, we're not allowed to do that outside.
We're in public here.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Next question.
Pineapple Fantastico. This is a potentially serious question. Treat it as serious as you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
As an American, having been here around 2 decades-ish, I've been wondering what it's like elsewhere in the world. In brackets, insert joke about healthcare and other issues in the US. So, I rather like the climate of Britain. Rain and storms are their favourite weather. So they would like to ask what the pros and cons are of living in Britain. Yeah, this could be either a very serious answer or a fun answer. Up to you guys.
Okay, the government is a fucking puddle of cold piss, but then again, a lot of governments are.
Our government is particularly shit, and our political climate is super fucked and is not going to get better for quite a long time.
Yeah, and Brexit's kind of fucked everything. So it's like right now, it's kind of a shithole.
Also, we're just like America. We're finding new and interesting ways to be institutionally transphobic all the time, and it's
yeah. Basically, we're gonna rename Britain to Turf Island because it's bullshit. 55% of their days are overcast. They've got nectar points. Quoting Bill Bailey there from like 20 years ago. God, I'm old. The people are lovely. Honestly, the British people are very lovely, very, very nice.
Yeah,
very,
you've got a bit of a different perspective because you weren't born here.
No, I wasn't born here. I am an immigrant. So, you know, it's a lot more kind of like Australia, a lot of personal connections, like kind of like your best friend, you still really don't know much. It's quite impersonal. You know, well, at least where I was growing up. And like, over here, people kind of like, you know, they're very caring. They're very touchy. I noticed that. Like, I got like really like weirded out by like loads of like linking arms at like school. I was walking home with girls and they were linking arms with me, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck do you think you're doing?" I was just so confused. But yeah, no, the people are amazing, and honestly, they make it worth it. But everything about how the country is run is fucking dogshit garbage for twats, and it's probably going to be for a while.
Yeah, and the reason that all of the people that are so lovely when you talk to them then vote for horrendous bigots and racists and terrible people to lead them is mostly the media's fault. So
because our newspapers are literally just engines of woe.
Yeah. It's basically, hey, what's like doom scrolling in real life? Go into a fucking supermarket and look at the newspapers.
Yeah.
And you will immediately become depressed if that's something you're interested in.
I cannot, in any good conscience, say that it is a good idea to come here right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like. I mean, maybe it's just because being in the middle of it, it feels like a pretty fucking hopeless situation right now. Being in this country, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's any light at the end of the tunnel I'm just spend like 90% of my days just fucking pissed off all the time. So yeah, maybe not the most positive people to ask.
Hey, we have fish and chips though.
We do have fish and chips, which is really nice.
Yeah. I saw someone who voted for Brexit, like, genuinely, like, nuclear Godzilla levels of angry, because they voted for Brexit because they thought that the EU was stopping them having chips in newspaper, and they wanted that back. So it's good to know. People have their priorities in order in this country.
That person could just eat a biro if they want to get ink inside them.
Right? Oh, but yeah, it tastes so much better with newspaper. Then put them in newspaper, Karen.
No one's stopping you. God
anyway, I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry if we depressed anybody.
We do on the upside have the NHS until it gets horrifically
Until we don't.
Yeah, for now.
defunded and privatised.
Okay, so
but-
I'm trying to lift people back up. Because Jesus Christ.
Warhammer World is here?
I have a pen that looks like a kitty.
Did you buy that here?
I did.
Was it made here? It won't be.
It was made... Probably not here. But it cost me £1, and it is an erasable pen, and it's a really nice pen, and it's got a kitty on it, and I like that. You can't see it, but it's a good pen. Yeah. It's one of those erasable ones, which is just powered by friction. Just like me. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
All right, moving on.
Do you have anything to add there, Matt?
No, nothing that isn't more depressing, and that despite all of that, it's still somehow better than a lot. I'm not saying it's the best by any means. I'm not saying this isn't a
Yeah.
super
By a
powerful
lot of
way,
metrics,
but
it still is
for a
better
lot
than
of various
yeah.
issues, it's still actually one of the better ones, which makes it even more depressing, to be honest.
It sucks, but it's not the worst, and that is depressing.
So I also, today, I got a Grogu pencil case that has a cute little chibi Grogu, and he has like extra ears sewn on, so his like ears are flappy and they come out in like 3D, and it just says on the little pram that he's sitting in, I'm all ears, and that made me happy today. That was really cute.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I also saw a magpie.
Good.
A lot of magpies today. They're very pretty. Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next question and dig us out of this hole.
Okay, Melange. Is there a piece of media you've bought for a lark that turned out to be way better than expected? So, as an example, they bought several records for less than £4 that turned out to be some of their absolute favourites.
I'm trying to think, actually. I suppose there's a few games that I've bought in that kind of thing where I've just bought them like on a whim, or like they've come like in a humble bundle or something, and I've been like, hey,
Crypt of the Necro Dancer was like that for me. That came in a humble bundle, and I was like, holy shit, this is great.
Like, you don't go into expecting it to like love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of one particularly offhand. But yeah, it's definitely happened. Have you got anything, Matt?
I went through... So the best answer I can give, which isn't a very good answer, is that I went through this was when I just left school, and I got like a first little job thing, and had a little bit of disposable income, and still living at home and stuff. So what I did was every month I went to the record shop, because we used to have those, and...
Are you talking about Reveal?
Yeah, Reveal Records.
My
Great place.
man!
Oh yeah, I used to buy so much shit from Reveal.
And
Reveal,
I'd go
for
in...
those of you who don't know, was a record shop, like a CD shop in Derby, the city in which we reside.
Which, if it lasted now, it'd probably be actually doing all right as now vinyl's coming back in.
Retro
it
shop
might
or
actually
something.
be. Yeah, it might
but
be.
no, and they always had like obscure bands in there, and like they like you'd go in and they'd be playing ska over the radio, over the speakers and stuff. So
various, they'd have like signing sessions there. So I think I met We Are Scientists and Maximo Park there, because they just rocked up, and obviously it wasn't just bumped into them, it was a planned thing. But like they just have things like that, which was quite fun. Yeah, it was a good place. But anyway, I used to go in, and once a month I'd go in and buy a CD, and the only requisite was that I wasn't allowed to like know who it is. It'd have to be complete. So just based on, they used to have a little sticker on the front that like described what it was. Like, it was a couple of sentences, but it was like, just a handwritten thing on a sticker saying what sort of music it was, and based just off that, and honestly, subconsciously, the artwork, because there wasn't much
Oh,
else to go
yeah.
on. So I can't say I didn't do that. But then just buy one there. So that was really good fun, and I really enjoyed it at the time and found some interesting bands. But I don't remember who any of them are, so obviously didn't have that much of an impact. So, you know.
I mean, that is how I went in and heard like 30 seconds of Go-Go Bordello and instantly went and bought it from in Reveal.
Oh,
so,
Go-Go
you know,
Bordello, yes.
so yeah, that was a good purchase.
Party!
But I had heard a song, so it wasn't like a complete mystery purchase there.
So you're lying.
So I am lying.
You are lying. The mendacity is fucking suffocating. I don't have anything. I'm not that. I grew up dirt poor, so if I wanted to buy something, it was never an impulse, and I would have to save up for it. Like when I saved up for like a month to get a second-hand copy of X-Men Mutant Academy for the PlayStation, and it's such a fucking bad game.
Yeah, it's not great.
That game sucked fucking. Oh, it sucked balls. But yeah.
All right, moving on. Wayne.
Hello, Wayne.
To answer your question about Ice Shadow, because that's apparently a question you asked, presumably Snipe. I honestly don't remember. Anyway,
probably not me.
I hate things that go near or touch my eyeballs, so I would probably go with Hazard Stripes to remind myself to be cautious around the area.
That's cool. I like that. Air of danger. Very nice. Nice.
As to their question, what other historical person would you like to go on a date with, and what would you do?
Oh, Pedro Pascal, and we'd eat pizza and watch horror movies.
He's not a historical figure. He's
maybe not to
literally
you.
He's literally alive right now.
Yes, but was he alive yesterday? In the past?
I guess this depends
he was dead.
on how you
He was
define...
dead yesterday. The Langoliers fucking ate him.
Well, if we want to get into like a philosophical perspective, like the past, the future, the present, they are not real concepts. You know, it's
the only thing that exists is in the now. So yeah, we like when I brought this up, I'm dead. That me is dead. So yeah, Pedro Pascal is dead.
Okay.
Currently he's alive, so I'm gonna go on a date with him. We're gonna eat pizza and watch horror movies.
And
he's gonna fucking bore me to death about Battlestar Galactica.
I think the implication is it should be someone who is not a current living actor. You got anything, Matt?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Everyone in the past was probably awful.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like everyone I can think of is a dick.
Most people who were in the past who did things that you like think are interesting or whatever.
Probably absolute bastards.
Probably shitheads, because most people in the past were shitheads. It was just the time.
Okay. I have it.
What?
Eureka. Din Djarin in a galaxy.
He's a fictional character.
They didn't say a fictional.
No, they said a historical. It has to be a real person. It can't be a fictional character.
Well, maybe
by
not
definition.
to you.
Um,
Okay, Napoleon Bonaparte, because then I'd offend him by having actually washed my body. And then I could punch him in the head.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Napoleon, in all honesty.
I'm not going to say. He liked him stinky.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So I'm going to punch him and be like, let people bathe, you disgusting fuck.
I have stated before that the...
I could meet... let's go on a date with. It's not like kill.
Yeah.
Shit.
I will say I have stated before that the historical figure and author that I would most like to get in a headlock is H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, but this is a date. Universal... happy universal friend.
Public universal friend.
Universal friend. I want to go on a date with public universal friend.
Okay.
Because they are like one of the very early examples of a like gender non-conforming non-binary individual to the point where their name was public universal friend, and I want them to be my friend, and I think that's
presumably
really
would
fun.
be so.
Yeah, because they're the public universal friend. So yeah, I want public universal friend.
I think, actually, I don't know which one specifically because I'm not that up on on every different one. But I feel like it could be a lot of fun to just go out for a drink with like some of the like old Greek philosophers. They'd all be shitheads.
They'd all get drunk and then pluck chickens and be like, behold my dick.
They'd all be shitheads, but like I imagine you'd have a laugh with them.
Which is the one that was really good at, that was like basically like, oh yeah, I'll teach you philosophy after I fuck fucking powerbomb you, scrub. He
always,
was like proper big wrestler boy.
I always forget which ones are which. Like, I sit there and go, was that Plato or Socrates? Or
I think it was Socrates, actually. Yeah. I think it was him that was just like, yeah, I know I should be teaching you, but I'm just going to fucking put you in the camel clutch and make you humble. Big fan of the Iron Sheik was
Socrates.
Socrates. Like, honestly, it's amazing.
The Socratic method was actually a kind of suplex.
Oh, yes, the humble maker. Perfect. Excellent. Yes. What about you, Drumbly Bumbly?
I kind of just want to have a wrestler now that all of his moves are like just named after different philosophical things. Like he's getting like, oh, he's just got him in a Hegelian dialectic.
This is okay. Now I get why you never liked wrestling. Drumbly Bumbly. With a cute little tumbly. I'm just really enjoying calling you that today. I'm sorry.
That's alright. That's alright. I can't think of anything funny, but maybe someone interesting. Wouldn't be a date, but like a interesting. Maybe let's go Nye Bevan, he's the guy who created the NHS. Because I thought he might be interesting. Because like, how the fuck did he get that bought off by anyone else?
Yeah,
especially at the time. Like they wouldn't, if it wasn't a thing now, they wouldn't pass it now. And back then it was worse.
Yeah,
so like,
no, it's like I remember hearing someone say that. Oh yeah, if we didn't have libraries, like. And someone suggested that, there's no fucking way. Or like the fire department. And it's like, yeah.
From my understanding, the NHS was allowed to be made mostly because the government kind of just went, fuck it, we're doing it. And just did it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, from my vague understanding. I may be wrong.
Yeah,
I wasn't alive.
I would like to have another historical figure. Marsha P. Johnson. She threw the first brick at Stonewall, and fuck yeah, Marsha P. Johnson, we stand. So yeah, her and Public Universal Friend. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But yeah.
All right, moving on. Mina. Firstly, their makeup line would involve colours based off the goods backing the various currencies. So gold, silver, green, but then also like Doge and superior firepower and overclocked RTX 3090s apparently.
An individual of taste, I see.
I don't know, any time someone mentions anything to do with the blockchain, something inside me dies a little.
I would have like a deep shade of like red that is just Mom, get the camera in capital letters.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'd have one that's like a nice deep emerald green called Willem Dafoe. Because, Green Goblin.
Green Goblin, yeah.
The Green Goblin!
Their question. Mm-hmm. Tyberos, the Red Wake, is
that
known...
baby boy.
Huh?
The baby boy.
He's known to be an absurdly large space marine. So what is the chance that he is actually Comrade Curzon's head stitched onto the body of Ferrus Manus?
None, because he's Daddy Shark from the fabled Baby Shark. Actually, Mina. I'm not gonna try and actually, but actually.
From what I understand, I think there is a bit where he himself offered himself up to be tested to prove that their gene seed wasn't corrupted, so he is just a standard Marine. So no, to be the fun police.
Defund the fun police. Or refund.
So I don't think he is. But he is a very big boy.
He's
that's
a
true.
big baby boy.
Which is funny because the actual model of him is kind of small.
Yep.
It's a really lovely model.
Very cool model, though. Yeah, really cool.
I used it as my Master of the Deathwing back when I used to have a custom Deathwing army.
Very gorgeous. Very good.
But yeah.
Okay, next up, Hobby Squig.
Hey, Squiggles.
So their nightmarish eyeshadow palette crossover would be Heinz saucers. So perfectly matched.
Yeah, you win. Okay, Hobby wins. Everyone go home.
They come in 57 brides.
Yeah, well, seemingly. No, it's any number apart from that, because Heinz have never done that many.
Yeah, no, they are absolutely lying.
But yeah, perfectly colour matched ketchup, mayo, brown sauce. Even the specific tomato sauce that they use in their baked beans.
Like that weird orangey shit.
Yeah. The secret to the perfectly matched colour apparently is that every shade is made from 100% concentrated dehydrated sauce.
That's disgusting. Thanks, Hobby.
Could we have like maybe like a kind of lip gloss that's made to the exact shade of ketchup pre-cum?
Oh.
I hate that I taught you that word. I hate that I taught you that. God fucking damn it. Also, if I ever meet someone who pronounces it Preckham, I'm gonna fucking clothesline them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, when the world isn't ending with fucking like global pandemics and shit, if someone says that to me in person, don't, because I'll fucking clothesline you. Oh my god.
Someone's gonna say it to you now.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go to prison for assault charges.
Yeah, someone, definitely not either of us.
I'm gonna, you know what? I could double clothesline the pair of yous. I ain't give a fuck. Anyway.
All right, Squig's question: if you were an animated character in a kids' TV show,
Okay, yeah.
what style of character would you be? So, if, for example, Jerry Anderson puppet or Hanna-Barbera or Cambric Green style stop motion or whatever.
Ooh,
what would your animation style be?
My animation style.
I don't know.
You'd be an anime character, Snipe, surely.
Would I? No, I'd be like.
No, I know who I'd be because I literally already am them. There's Tiana. I think that's her name. The Doctor from the Lower Decks.
Oh, the cat
is literally a gender swapped cat version of me.
Yeah, that is just you.
Her entire expression and like stance is exactly how I draw myself.
She's a little scruffy and just done with everyone's shit.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a Lower Decks character, I guess, because I just am a Lower Decks Cation.
I think they're called. Yeah, an anime. Yeah, but I'd like to be a magical girl, but I know I'd be like fucking Akira or some shit.
You mean you'd be fucking the blob at the end of Akira?
Are you calling me fat? Because I mean, yeah, nice one. Dude.
I'm saying, I'm assuming that's what you meant. The horrific, massive, tentacles and arms.
I'm trying to think of like an anime. You know what? I would be like Kill la Kill. Like I'd basically be like dressed like Ryoko, but I'd be shaped like Gamagori.
You'd be as big in the scene as is comedically necessary.
I would be fucking big and muscular. And Kill la Kills for me. What about you, Drumbum?
Good question.
I think you'd be a Captain Scarlet.
What about an Animal Crossing villager?
Oh, I could do that. Yeah, no, I was more thinking like a Wallace and Gromit style clay motion stop.
Is it? Yeah, you'd be Aardman because
can I be like just a better version of Wallace? Because Wallace like isn't a good person. Like is
he not?
Well, I don't know. He's just very lazy and expects Gromit to fix everything for him.
Okay. Well, I mean, you don't have to assume his identity.
No, but
I kind of want to draw that now, whereas like we're all three of us with our cartoon sonars. That sounds very good. That's a really fun question. Thanks, Holly.
Yeah. All right, next up, Ryan Warhart.
Hello, Ryan.
I think, I haven't wrote this bit down, but I think they're the one who did the backwards question, which I just read out backwards. So I think this is the actual question of what it is.
Oh, excellent.
What is your favourite flora or fauna from 40k?
Squigs.
Oh, squigs are good.
I love squigs.
Good.
Yeah,
are squigs related species-wise to orcs and goblins?
Yes, they're part of the orcoid ecosystem.
They're like mushrooms.
Yeah.
So
they are technically both flora and fauna.
Are they both? Yeah. That makes it a very good answer.
They are a fungus-based life form. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, squigs would get my vote. I like squigs.
Honestly, I want to vote squigs too, but I think that's going to count as my flora. My fauna is going to be squigs as well. Fuck it. Squigs, this is a squig heavy meta.
Yeah,
in this house, we support squig supremacy.
All squigs all the way down.
All the way down. Drummer Butt, what about you?
Well, I wasn't sure, but Ryan's answer, they've always been fond of crotalids because teleporting space crocodiles are great. And I can't disagree with that, honestly.
That's a strong choice right there.
I mean, obviously the spike plants are great, which we did know what they were. We were very kindly told what they were called, and I've promptly forgotten.
The spiker.
Spiker.
Not a clever name.
Yeah, they're quite fun. But yeah, teleporting space crocodiles. Can't really top
Yeah, I mean,
that. Apart
technically,
from, honestly,
there's
Squigs.
like an orc weapon, or an orc attack that basically teleports a squig into your armor.
You're
Which, I
thinking
mean,
of
presumably
the
they do in
shock
their-
attack gun, which teleports
Gretchen.
snotlings.
Oh, okay, yeah. But you could teleport a squig.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Just jam it
Sure
in
you
there. They're
could.
same sort of DNA-ish.
Yeah, it's fine. You probably can't tell. But yeah, good question. That.
As for their makeup palette, they would create. It would be a Star Wars planets palette, solely
I
so they
would
could
actually-
make older on black with sparkles in it.
I would actually buy that. I
Too
actually
soon.
would buy
Too
that.
soon.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I would happily buy that.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, space.
Tatooine would just be a really nice, deep kind of like red sand. That if you use it, you get eye sickness. What is it? It's not eye sickness. It's
Pink eye?
pink eye. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no.
What?
I don't know.
Conjunctivitis?
Ugh, yeah. I ever tell you about the time I got that so bad my eyes were bleeding?
Yeah, you probably shouldn't mention that
No,
on the
please
podcast.
don't tell anyone that. I don't want to know.
Okay, if everyone could just forget the last 10 seconds, that'd be swell.
Okay,
that
then we
would be
could
great.
just forget the last hour and 45 minutes.
What, and just have the 25 seconds there? Fuck you.
Okay, moving on. Second last question. This is a good one. I like this one.
Okay.
Not that all the other ones weren't good.
Wow, you fucking shade.
just that-
Okay.
Yeah, that came across really badly. I apologise. Sepulchre grown. So,
Hello.
bit of background. I love Shakespeare, and I've just spent far too long and too much time over the last couple of weeks writing an academic paper about the purposes of fools in Shakespeare's drama. So, they'd quite like to hear about Shakespeare from someone who isn't, completely balls deep in it, for want of a better phrase. So, tell me something you think about the writings of William Shakespeare. So it could be something you love or something you hate or
It's fucking
anything.
indecipherable as an Australian. I came over here and it's like, oh yes, lechery? I defy lechery. There's one at the gate. I'm like, what the fuck is Toby saying? Actually, what the fuck? This is a prank and all y'all have put this shit together for like magnetic fridge poetry just to trick the foreigner. Ha ha ha.
One thing
Also,
I do...
his comedies aren't funny.
Nah, it's true. That is true. One thing I like about Shakespeare, because I think I've seen like one Shakespeare play. Like
I liked
fully.
Macbeth. That was good.
I think Macbeth is the one I've seen.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm not the hugest fan of Shakespeare or anything, but I do like how he's a good example of when the English language, its rules and existing words aren't good enough. Fuck it, do it yourself.
Yeah. Make
He's-
it up so you look smart, and then when it's like, oh, no one understands what expedasperous means. Nerd. Bad nerd, not good nerd.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he did make
I-
up a lot of words that we
Oh, he
just
made
now
up
use.
so many fucking
I
words.
can't think of any examples because I don't know that much.
Well,
but
I'm pretty
I-
sure Shakespeare wasn't a word before he was like around, so that was. Oof.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I really hated Shakespeare when I was at school.
Well, no,
Well, it's
because
because you're made to do it, so it's
You're
Yeah.
not only are you made to do it, but the teachers will sit there and go, no, you need to read this with feeling, or like, oh no, you need to like understand that when they're talking about curtains, it's actually talking about butt cheeks or fucking I don't know what. And it's like, and if you don't get it, they treat you like you're fucking stupid or not paying attention. At least that's my experience with Shakespeare. So even if you do have an inkling towards it, like of liking it, a lot of teachers are just such insufferable. I am very smart pricks about it. It can beat it out of you.
This
Yeah,
is a
that's
little
fair.
bit of a tangent, but
What a tangent on the MisanthroPod.
yeah, I know. But that reminds me of a thing which has just sort of occurred to me. So when you're at school and you're doing, say, English literature stuff,
I used to really like it.
and what I've just realised is that you are quite often taught in those things to like interpret works of fiction. But they pretty much, at least at my school, it was always presented as, no, this is what they meant.
No,
as opposed
same.
to teaching you the actual way of reading media, which is to give a reading of it, which is where you
What
you
is
think...
your interpretation
Yeah.
of this story, of this poem, whatever?
Because the authors...
The thing is, they'd say that. Like, what do you think the artist meant? Like, what do you think John Stein meant when he was talking about using these like adjectives? He was using these descriptors when he was talking about the streams or whatever. And you go, I think he's talking about kind of like, how the itinerant workers are kind of, they're trying to make a place for themselves in a world that won't slow down and let them breathe. No, that's wrong. They like whores and they go to whorehouses, and you're like, okay, fuck me, I guess.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where there is that kind of attitude where people think that the meaning of media is like a puzzle that there's a solution to all the time. And
Or it's like everything is deliberate. It's like, no, speaking as a creator, sometimes I'm just like, fuck yeah, that made me look smart. Total accident.
and quite often there isn't. There's multiple ways of interpreting it, and even the intention of the author into something is not the only way to read a work of fiction. There's plenty of things that exist. Like a good example would be George Romero, not John Romero.
No, let's talk about John Romero.
George Romero has stated on multiple occasions that there is no like anti-consumerist message intended in Dawn of the Dead.
Well, that's how I read it.
But
so
that is a real common reading of it because the messaging is just right there in front of
whether
you.
he intended it or not, that's what it ticks a lot of the boxes for anti-consumerism.
And I don't know. I don't know how you
Other
do
people
it.
can disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. It just it feels like when you go through school, it doesn't particularly prime you very well for understanding how to interpret media.
It's almost as if school isn't really meant to educate you. It's just to kind of make it so that you can understand factory instructions and not die.
Yeah,
Or, provide meat for the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
It depends. It varies. Anyway, I saw a really tiny fucking dog the other day that Wib and I were freaking out about after we walked past the person, because this dog was like 6 inches off the ground. They were a
very
pupicule.
tiny. But we do need to ask Matt what he thinks about Shakespeare.
Yeah, Drama, what do you think about Shakespeare, now that we've poisoned the well?
I did have something to say, but it's because, coincidentally, like, the night before I read this email question, I started reading a book by Bill Bryson, if you know the author, and he wrote a book about what we know about Shakespeare. So the point of the point that Groan was trying to make is that, well, I would really, really appreciate hearing someone talk about Shakespeare who doesn't think of themselves as an expert, and none of your trio gives me the impression that you could rattle off 50 intelligent-sounding comments on Shakespeare without engaging your brain. But
okay,
now,
fucking wow.
But now I've read this book, I'm just like, well, a really interesting thing I think about Shakespeare is that, like, you don't really know that much about him. Like, his birth date's educated guessed, but they don't quite know. Like, they don't really know how he spelt his name because he's only signed. They've got like 6 or 7 or 12, I can't remember, a low number of signatures of him, and he spelt it differently every single time.
Yeah,
but
I have heard.
this isn't the
What's
thing that they
that
wanted to
man
hear, because I've just read about this in a book. So like, they didn't want to hear. They wanted to hear what I thought about it before, and I can't answer that anymore because
I have
Okay,
actually-
let me give you a proper answer. Shakespeare's hard to read. Whee!
I have actually heard that. There's
that?
there's I think I've mentioned them before. There's a YouTuber called Kyle Calgarin who does a series called Brows Held High, and he's done a lot of videos on Shakespeare, which I find it interesting watching people talk about things that they're passionate about, even if I personally don't really care about them.
yeah, absolutely.
And so
I mean, that's why you married me. You don't care about anything I like.
that's only 40% true.
Wow. I honestly expected that to be way higher. So go me. Nice.
But yeah, I remember watching a video that was talking about that, about how our conception of Shakespeare is actually not really based very much on the person himself, because we don't know much about Shakespeare. We just have this conception of him in a public consciousness.
I know that he was allergic to honey roast ham. He was not. I made that
Yeah,
up.
I was going to say that was something you just made up.
No, you just didn't like it.
That was also something you made up.
I know that he met an angel and a devil though once. That was pretty cool.
I don't think he did.
Well, I mean, you can't prove that he didn't.
I know, because I can't prove that either of those things exist.
Nah. I mean, get technical.
But yeah, that's
So,
an interesting question.
We fucking ruined your clever ruse of. I want to hear stupid people talk about something clever. So sorry about that. And plus, I'm the only stupid one here. See, the Mats TM, they're
You're not stupid.
Well, no, I'm just going
And you shouldn't call yourself
I don't
stupid.
think-
It does
I
yourself a
don't-
disservice to call
I
yourself.
don't think the word stupid is a particularly negative term.
It's loaded with
It is
connotation.
low. Like, I would say you two are knowledgeable and more intelligent, more intellectually capable than I am, which doesn't make you better or worse than me.
I am merely a British man with the self-confidence that comes with that, and so I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. But either way...
I don't. I just have the confidence to sound like I do.
Yeah, any English white dude who talks with authority, the internet's going to go, yes, I agree, yes.
There's the whole reactionary subset of YouTube that's built around that.
Yeah, it's like, hey everyone, did you know that like if you eat a lot of edamame, you can fly?
Yeah.
See, if I say that, no one listens, but if you two say that,
Yeah.
then everyone's going to start eating edamame.
If Red Bull says it, they make $1 billion empire.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Edamame. Edamame. Sounds like something Mario likes.
In Elf.
What?
Matt, questions?
Shall we move on to the very last question?
Yes, we
Last
should.
question.
So, Brandon, Star Trek question,
Brandon.
but it's directed towards all of us, not just Wib.
That's a very nice concession you've made, Brandon.
So,
We know it was originally meant for Wib, but then you were like, oh fuck, she will go off if I don't make it. Okay. So thank you.
okay, the question is, pick a Star Trek series. One actor stays, the rest are replaced by Muppets.
Okay, this is a winning thing regardless, and I'm gonna say DS9.
Yeah, which series and which actor?
DS9 and Cisco's the only one that isn't a Muppet.
You see,
Have I
that's-
just stolen
That's
your idea?
strong. That's strong.
That's strong. That's
That's
good.
strong because
Because Benjamin motherfucking Cisco.
I think the thing is because DS9 is what is the series that probably most effectively handles darker topics. So
Yeah,
it's
but
the
then
one
you throw
where,
Muppets into that.
where the dissonance is so great, and there's a few episodes where there is a good platform for Cisco.
Do you feel that I'm like by doing this I might be underlining some of the important social issues that they wanted to discuss? Because I've just realised that and I'm mortified at myself.
No.
I picked fucking shit.
So there's some definite things that could work out really, really well. In the pale moonlight, that could be great like that. But I also kind of just want the original series, but the only person who isn't a Muppet is Kirk because he's already a fucking Muppet.
Yeah, fair.
'Cause he's
William
already-
Shatner is anyway.
Yeah, he's already stuffed full of fucking cotton wool.
What would you go for, Matt?
Oh, I would go Next Generation. Riker stays because he'd walk over all the Muppets like he's trying to get onto a chair.
Okay, Drummer Matt wins.
No. What about if Data was the only normal actor?
And then you
because
get to
he's
see a
the
Muppet flip over the fucking chair.
Because then, actually, yeah, watching a Muppet do that would be amazing.
It'd be really funny.
Then just throw it over the chair.
Yeah, just throw him over a chair, and then like there'd be like another puppet that's like on the puppeteer's arm already that just like
Pops up
up with his legs crossed.
Because Data talking about wanting to be more human and then having Muppets describe how to be more human to him.
Yeah, but then he'd have to fuck Tasha Yar as a Muppet.
I see zero issue with this.
I see several issues with this.
Although the episode where Tasha dies is going to be fucking rough if it's a Muppet.
Yeah, but after Data's like had sex with it, that's okay. You know, all of these are very solid, and I'm very upset that we won't be getting them now. Oh, that's a great fucking question, though. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I do want to see the Muppet just yeeted over the back of a chair and then just.
But yeah, every TOS character but Spock would probably also work.
I think
well,
that'd be good because
actually,
he's
as
so
well.
po-faced. He's
Yeah.
so like yes, that would be real cool.
Yeah, he wouldn't react to it at all.
No, he probably he'd just be like, that's interesting. But all the tribbles would be fun though, wouldn't they?
And you don't have to do it to Enterprise because every character is also already a Muppet.
Yeah.
They are crude facsimiles of characters that are caricatured to an extreme that makes them a focus of fun.
Okay.
Enterprise isn't very good.
Okay. Yeah. I still want to watch Data having sex with a puppet
You
tattoo.
do know that in the episode in which...
Oh, it's full frontal nudity.
that
You see it
happens.
all. Cinemax times 10. Ooh, sexy.
You do not see anything.
You do.
You don't.
Yeah, you do.
Data does not drop trowel and then
He does.
spool out his Robocock.
Yeah, and then he's like on the pump, like blowing it up, and he's like, "What kind of not DPI? That's dicks per inch." No, my brain was just visualize that for me, because apparently my life is a constant fight between my mind and my brain and how we want to destroy each other.
I feel that I should just mention something.
Is it PPI? Because that makes
What are you
it weird.
talking about?
Pressure per inch.
PSI.
PSI.
Pounds
I
per
like.
square inch.
No, this is PPI now because it's
Okay.
PPs.
So, just because talking about dicks, I just want to mention something that I got sent on Twitter.
Oh,
Christ. I'm really sorry to the person that sent this. I can't remember your name offhand because I didn't plan on talking about this.
But speaking of dicks,
Yeah,
oh
no,
that's
literally.
usually me saying that. What the hell?
They put up a video on YouTube and they sent it to me of that somebody they bought some Rogue Trader beakies off eBay, and when they got them, they looked at the shoulder pad on one of them, and it that looks like a tiny dick.
Oh no,
That looks like a tiny dick. Maybe it's just the way it's drawn. And then they got the rocket launcher one. And no, it was a big fucking cock with jizz splats. And down the leg was written, I think it was the ejaculator. And then there was another one that he pulled out where they'd got, I think it was supposed to be a woman bent over.
Christ, okay.
I think it was not. I don't think it was supposed to be, but it kind of looked like she just had just opening her butthole wide. They'd spent a lot of time drawing this, and it had, I think, down the leg "Fanny Fighter" written. Which is
Good.
I mean,
so. Yeah,
I talk about dicks a lot, and I like a lot, to the point where I feel the medical community would very much like to study me. And I can't help but feel that's a tad excessive.
I feel that.
I wouldn't make a dick-wielding army. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, they did a remarkably good job at painting a dick and an entire naked body that small.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure why they did it.
This wasn't shown on the eBay listing or whatever it was.
It was not visible because they just looked like beakies because it was on the shoulder pads and stuff. So they just looked like, they're just an old 80s paint job, like whatever. Apparently,
the old bait and switch.
Apparently, the seller he wasn't the one that painted them, or at least that's what he says. And
Let me send you my dick beakies. Honestly, they're not mine.
Yeah, I'll probably I'll retweet them on Twitter or something when we post this so that people can see
Because
this
Jesus
thing.
Christ, I like it how you deliberately you didn't tell me until now, and now I'm going to be obsessed with this for the next month.
I will show you the
I am
video.
hyperfixated on this.
I will
right
show you
now.
the video afterwards.
Thank you.
But yeah.
But for now,
Podcast over.
podcast is over. I need to go look at the beaky dicks. I need to go look at the ejaculator.
Yeah.
Oh god, I said that out loud now.
Yep.
I'm surprised that's not a podcast title already. Snipe needs to look at the ejaculator. Because I do.
Anyway, so thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been lovely chatting, and we hope that you have a lovely time out in the world. And
I'm going to say out in the woods.
out in the woods,
Which
because
is where our main demographic is wood dwellers.
it's just like crazed bushmen.
Crazed
Fucking
bushmen.
love this channel. Like they love this podcast.
Get just onto the edge of civilization to pick up a Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah,
Download the podcast and then scurry back off
yeah, into the night.
into the night.
So thank you, bush people. We appreciate your listenage. So until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Fucking bush people.